And yes, it is time. Oh my God, what a night we have. Well, that I have for you. Whether you are watching live or after the fact, you will find the timestamps in the description below. I really appreciate your attention. For those of you who are watching live, we are on track to start at 10, maybe a minute late, but in the meantime, just enjoy the music. You know the deal. Later. Hey, hey, hey. Hello. Hey, I gotta say, as far as all the times, wait, He said, just realizing now that he forgot to lower the volume of the music, but that is fine. Besides for that one little mistake, this is a perfect launch to the stream. What a way to begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the SydStream. My name is Sydney, and we have quite a show for you tonight. Hello, Brett. Glad to see you. Yeah, listen, I'm changing things up for the next little while. Truckers. Hello, Frank. What I'm trying to get at is if I'm right, and I have to say, given my track record since the beginning of this pandemic, my track record is very impressive. And if I'm right, this trucker situation is going to last a little while. So it is going to be my goal to try and upload segments that can be useful to people in Ottawa. And for the sake of brevity and speed, I'm going to throw them up unedited. So that's going to be a challenge. So yeah, I just wanted to warn you guys of that. Well, warn. I don't know how calling it a warning is fair. But before we get started, I just want to show you one thing. I don't know who talked about it today. I forget. But you know what? Fuck this. Let me just do it this way, like that. There we go. So, someone mentioned this today, and it finally got me curious to actually Google it and see what it is. Y'all may have heard that in China there is a new ending to Fight Club, and people were theorizing about what it was, and I decided, you know what, this has been out for a while, and I might as well just try to look it up. And this is a very minor spoiler alert. If you haven't seen Fight Club yet and you care about spoilers, you might want to skip the next couple seconds. But yes, this is the new ending of Fight Club. So basically, when the narrator shoots himself, also killing Tyler Durden in the movie, Marla arrives and then they watch all the buildings collapse together. But in China, what they did is they, as soon as he kills himself and Tyler dies and the narrator is sitting in that chair, before you even hear the ding of Marla's elevator arriving, the screen goes to black and they put this. Through the clue provided by Tyler, the police rapidly figured out the whole plan and arrested all criminals, successfully preventing the bomb from exploding. After the trial, Tyler was sent to lunatic asylum, receiving psychological treatment. He was discharged from hospital in 2012. Yay. So I just wanted to share that tidbit because it was interesting to me, and what's interesting to me usually makes it on the show at some point. Apparently, a convoy from Regina did not make it because they were blocked by the police. Yeah, and they're not headed towards Quebec. Yes, I have also heard that. This is a movement, folks. It was clear to me that it was a movement before the trucks even got there. But Jesus Christ, this is a moment in history, and if things turn out well, let's just say is if Ottawa wins, we all win. And if Ottawa loses, that's going to be a major obstacle to other people trying. Because, just because the first attempt at something goes wrong doesn't mean you can't try again. However, and I'm going to rehash this, I'm sorry, depending on how, if Ottawa fails, the way it fails might stop the movement in its tracks, and that's what I want to help avoid. All right, so Yes, Darth Shady, I agree. Let me just listen. I don't see much reason to not just jump right into it. So let me do this, and we'll get started here. Wait. Before we begin, just to give you an idea of how new and fast paced all of this is, you know how I usually prepare my show notes in Notion and everything. I'm still using Notion because, of course, I am. I use Notion for everything. But the scope of what's happening in Ottawa is so huge that I decided to build a master document where I just put everything in there. And I got this idea a couple days ago. So next week will be the first episode of me talking about what's going on over there, having used this system for a whole week. So what I did, I made a little mind map of the things that I wanted to talk about. I don't know how long it's going to last. I'm still terrible at estimating how long I take to do things. But yeah, I think we can get right in there. I'll just open up this mind map. Oh, geez, it really shows when I'm opening it. Mind map open, mind map closed, open, closed, open, closed. What can I do? Actually, I don't think it really matters. That's gonna. I'm just gonna have to deal. All right. I might actually have to burp in the camera because again, my goal is to upload these unedited, and we'll see what happens. So, I'm going to start with the TLDR because I don't know how many people are going to see this. And if you are presently in Ottawa protesting, I want to make sure that you get some of the core things that I want to convey throughout this. God knows how long it's going to take me to convey this. So, it's all about the hearts and minds of the normies. You have to start considering yourself as a representative for your cause whenever you interact with a normie. Most of this stuff is obvious, or at least I would think it's obvious. However, given some of the incidents that have happened this weekend, I just want to make this clear. And also, if you are in Ottawa protesting right now and you have 2 or more doses of the vaccine, you are extremely valuable. You have no idea how valuable you are. I would invite you to step out of your comfort zone and be a little closer to the front and center than you might feel comfortable doing, because you are a vital asset in the PR campaign that is taking place right now. So that is the TLDR. I'm going to go into some why I'm doing this, basically. So the as you may or may not have even picked up from my tone just now, what's happening in Ottawa, this protest, is very high stakes. This is a moment in history, and depending on how this plays out, this can inspire other people to do the same thing elsewhere in the world. We're already seeing signs of this. I have a document full of links, but things are moving too quickly for me to have aggregated it as well as I would like to do. But one thing is for sure, and I talked about this last week. If the truckers in Ottawa don't get what they want, this is likely to backfire. And you know the trope of the child who wants to play on PlayStation, and you don't let them, and then they say, "Well, I'm gonna hold my breath until I die, or you let me play PlayStation." And if the truckers in Ottawa like leave If the truckers in Ottawa leave peacefully without getting their demands met, that's what they risk looking like. And I think that I am in a position to help. However, well, there is no real however. The issue is I have a really small platform, a mini platform. So I don't think I'm going to get much traction, but I have to try. I have to try, which is what I'm doing right now. One thing that I will mention, though, is the challenge that I have in making sense of everything. Because a key strategy that I've been using for the last 2 years, actually before, but it's because of this strategy that I have been doing so well during this crisis, all things considered, is to have a diverse information diet. I like to consume media of all kinds, from the Alex Jones all the way to the CNNs, and everything in between, or as much as I reasonably can, you know? And the thing is, I think that it's obvious to everyone how historic this incident is, because there's kind of an acceleration. Everyone is hitting the gas on this, making it even harder for me to keep up. And something that I've noticed, this has been going on for a while, but the rise to power and presidency of Donald Trump kind of brought this concept to the surface, and then crossfading into the COVID era just broke that shit wide open. The thing is, depending on where you get your news, you're generally going to get a story. That's unavoidable. Okay, the any news item will be covered by a human, will be conveyed by a human. That human has biases and preferences, and yeah, if they're good faith, they will attempt to make abstraction of their biases and preferences and whatnot. But, you know, we're human, right? But one thing that we could usually rely on is the who, what, when, and where. When who, what, when, where starts breaking down, we got trouble. And the who, what, when, where has been crackling slowly for the last, well, it's been visible for the last, let's say, 6 years. And right now it's really coming to the forefront of how, even with a diverse information diet, it's difficult to get a good sense of the basics. And if you're in an echo chamber, whether you're in the alternative media echo chamber or the mainstream media echo chamber, it's even more difficult. Like an example that came to mind today, actually. Yesterday, Premier Trudeau gave a speech, and he was talking about one of the things that he mentioned. He was condemning the stealing of food from the homeless. And I watched some alternative media guys talk about this and say, like, holy shit, he's making shit up, to the point where I'm like, wait, do they not know that there are allegations that that there was a soup kitchen who was bullied? Is it possible they don't know? Now, I've also heard that these allegations may or may not have been debunked. I haven't gotten to the bottom of this, but one thing is for sure: if that soup kitchen was lying, the backlash would be ridiculous. I can't imagine a reason why they would lie about this. No, actually, we'll circle back to the soup kitchen later. So. Yeah, I want to start by giving you an idea of the lay of the land. I alluded to this in my TLDR from a couple minutes ago. However, I just want to make this explicit. And again, I have the feeling that I'm going to say a bunch of things which, on an intuitive level, are obvious, but there's value in having these things pointed out to you explicitly. All right, give me a second. Okay, so some of you may have heard of the term mass formation psychosis. It's kind of a meme at this point. I would consider that a feature, not a bug. However, if you heard the term mass formation psychosis for the first time via Dr. Malone's appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, I want to give you a bit of context because odds are you haven't looked into this at all. I've been aware of this for a couple months prior to it blowing up in the mainstream awareness. And this work is based on the work of Dr. Matthias Desmet. I will link to the Substack article that I read below. I haven't looked into this deeply, but I want to give you a map which will be useful to you if you're in Ottawa and if you're protesting in Ottawa and you want success, it's good to have a map and an objective. So here's the thing. And actually, let me make sure that this is white. There we go. So let's forget about mass formation psychosis. I'm going to apply this to your protest. So these percentages are not exact. In the Substack article that I read, he gave like ranges of percentages. So I just picked definitive percentages to make it a nice 30, 40, 30. So there are 30% of people who will be on board with you no matter what. No matter how often we show them that picture, that one picture of that one guy holding a Nazi flag, they will not give up on this cause because the cause means too much to them. They will notice that this guy is alone next to a fence out in the corner of the protest. He's not in the middle of a crowd, and that it's one picture of one guy. Now, there is another 30% that I've dubbed them haters. It's not the best label, but I was scrambling here. So this 30% here will oppose you no matter what. And no matter how many videos we see of truckers feeding the homeless in their area, no matter how many videos that we show them of, the peaceful partying that is happening and people just chilling and having a good time while making a lot of noise, their reaction is going to be, I don't know. Didn't you see that one picture of that one guy holding a Nazi flag? I mean, if even one guy is comfortable holding a Nazi flag, that ruins the whole thing. So no. I can't support this. Plus, these truckers are basically, in the minds of these people, or some of these people, I don't think all the haters are haters for the same reason. But the key is, to some of these people, the trucker protests in Ottawa is a Nazi protest of truckers who are trying to kill their grandma, and these people are lost. The goal, what you're trying to do, is to get as much of this sweet, juicy 40% over to your cause as you can. That's the goal. And unfortunately, that one guy in that one picture holding a Nazi flag, I will elaborate a little on that. But that one picture of that one guy, that gave ammo to these people to take some people and win them over here. And that's not good. That's something that I invite you to be mindful of. Because even in Trudeau's speech, when and Trudeau is not the only one. Like every mainstream coverage of this has spoken of hate symbols and the Terry Fox statue getting disrespected, that one chick dancing on the tomb of the unknown soldier. I know there were many incidents at that war memorial, but the reason that I'm bringing this up, and the reason they keep bringing this up, is because to some normies who see that they can be won over, and no matter what you do from there, they'll never support your cause. And I don't think victory is possible without the support of the people. Like, it's all fun to focus on the politicians and policy and everything like that. I get it. However, no matter how much pressure that you put on a politician to change their policy, I don't think they will do it if they think that making this policy change will get them voted out. Politicians want to stay in power. And if you, without the support of the normies, then if the politicians, without the support of the normies, the politicians will think that giving into your demands will get them voted out, and it'll make things virtually impossible. So I wanted to explicitly just point that out. I will keep this graphic for future reference, but it's really important to keep that in mind. Oh, and another thing that I want to mention. And I'm going to take a sip of water. Give me a sec. Another thing that I want to mention is that something that has been, that has come to something that we've all been aware of is how independent journalists are much more agile and much more capable of getting quick reporting quickly, and getting out on the field compared to old media like television and network television, basically. But the agility of independent media cuts both ways. So if you support the protests, odds are that you have independent journalists who were out there watching everyone party and shit like that. However, there are independent journalists in here too, and any misdeed will get picked up by these. There are journalists who are actively there seeking out every piece of every instance of misbehavior that they can, and just posting it on their Twitter. And whenever someone tweets that one picture, that one guy holding the Nazi flag, they will retweet it, even though that one picture has saturated their Twitter feed on Saturday. Events like the ones you mentioned are unavoidable with a big event. Absolutely. I was going to make that point later, Frank. Yeah. So, actually, is it time to cover that? Yes, actually. Right on time. So, yes, when you say that events like the ones that I just mentioned are unavoidable, that is absolutely true. And actually, before I... while I'm looking for my tweet, I just want to mention something. This is a piece of advice that I got from the one and only Scott Adams. If you want to persuade, avoid using metaphors like the plague. Metaphors are extremely unpersuasive. Whenever you try to compare something to something else in an attempt to make a point, people who agree with you will be like, oh, yeah, so true, absolutely. But people who don't will immediately jump on how those things are different because it's a metaphor. Metaphors are different by definition. They have things in common, they have things that are different. So try not to do that. Now, where is it? Yeah. So, being mindful of how dangerous it is to use metaphors, period. I made a point of never talking about Black Lives Matter protests. However, our beloved Premier Justin Trudeau made that mistake himself yesterday. So, naturally, people were pointing out the flaws in this comparison. And I made this very point where actually we might as well play that clip.
That I have attended protests and rallies in the past.
Jesus Christ, this is slow.
When I agreed with the goals, when I supported the people expressing their concerns and their issues. Black Lives Matter is an excellent example of that. But I have also chosen to not go anywhere near protests that have expressed hateful rhetoric, violence towards fellow citizens, and a disrespect, not just of science, but of the frontline health workers.
Yes, respect the science.
The 90% of truckers who have been doing the right thing to keep Canadians safe, to put food on our tables.
90% of truckers, remember that. We'll be talking about 90% of truckers.
About where they stand and who they stand with.
Okay, so anyway,
I have attended protests.
The volume was really low, but he was saying like, actually, let's just read Disclosed TV's tweet here. Now, Canada's PM Justin Trudeau accuses the trucker convoy crowd of hateful rhetoric and violence towards citizens. He rather prefers to attend BLM protests. And I made this very point that you just made here. Shitty behavior is unavoidable once you have more than a couple hundred people protesting. Burning down a car dealership is unacceptable. Bullying soup kitchen employees is unacceptable. So again, my strategy, because I don't want to belabor the comparison between the trucker protests and Black Lives Matter, but if someone else makes that mistake, what I plan on doing is just to do a hit and run, like just jab and get out of there, you know? So let me just get back to my mind map here. Where are you? Right here. Oh, now, actually, since Justin Trudeau mentioned the 90% of truckers who are doing the right thing by putting food on the table, I just want to elaborate on this because over the last 5 days that this protest has been happening, actually since before, someone made this point in the comments of my stream from last week, one of them anyway. So there are two main phrases that have been thrown around a lot, and I just want to point out how shit they are, how bad they are. And the thing is, and I've been watching old media do this for for 2 years now. The deadly, the sinister effect of unspoken assumptions. When you say something that rests on assumptions that you don't name, and by focusing on this is implied, and they're getting you to kind of think past the sale. And the first one is the point that 90% of truckers are vaccinated. This is, I'm sure it's true. I have no cause to doubt that stat. However, there are unspoken assumptions behind that statement that if you're not aware of them, I just want to point them out to you. So The three main ones are you can't be pro-vaccine and pro-mandate. That unspoken assumption has been hammered on a semi-daily basis for the last year and a half minimum on all sorts of details. You can be pro-vaccine and anti-mandate. And the other thing, there aren't any vax truckers in that convoy. Also false. The other one, they're only protesting trucker mandates. Also false. So I just wanted to point that out because whenever people, whenever a politician or journalist says 90% of truckers are vaccinated, period, and then moves on to another point, those are the three assumptions that they're trying to slide past the goalie. And hopefully, just by being aware of it, you can deal with those just by exposing them. The minute incidents that keep repeating over and over is telling of how little meat they have to work with. That's a good point too, Nutsil. I like that. Now, the other shit argument. Even if, let's go back to the trucker mandate. This is what this other shit argument is. Even if, wait, how did it go? Yeah. Even if the trucker mandate is lifted, the US also has a trucker mandate, so they won't be able to cross the border anyway. Now, that might be true that the US also has a trucker mandate and that there's no point in lifting the trucker mandate here in Canada. However, you know what else the US has? Truckers. A lot of them. Probably more than here. So the idea that lifting the trucker mandate here is pointless is ludicrous because it can serve as a proof of concept to get the trucker mandates lifted by truckers everywhere, including the US. So that's the retort to that one. It's the same points everyone keeps repeating. It's like hypnosis, repetition to brainwash. I hear you. I'd rather not comment on that. So actually, I'm almost done with what I wanted to say. This is great. Okay, so two more things, minimum. I just want to give you a filter. This is one of those things that that you probably already knew intuitively. In fact, the odds are very high that you already knew this. The reason that I'm going into this in such detail is because there's value in having it explicitly pointed out. Like, yeah, I'm sure anyone can throw a jab, but to really get the training, well, not necessarily training, but to just be shown explicitly what a good guard is, and to know what the form of a proper jab is, and how you never want to make a fist like this because you're likely to break your thumb and things like that. Anyway, I got this filter from guess who I got it from, and it's called the Really filter. And the way the Really filter works is it's basically a way to formalize a sniff test. The Really filter is a sniff test, but the way you do it is you just describe a situation sarcastically and say really a lot, and see if you look silly or if you're making the situation look silly. And obviously, this is not an arbiter of truth. Some things would pass the Really filter and still be false, but others might not pass it and be true, you know? But just give an example here. I'm attempting to find a non-controversial example. So we're going to go with the moon landing. So if someone tells you that the moon landing was fake, let's take it to the Really filter. Really? The moon landing was fake? Really? and all those astronauts are lying? Really? Like for 40 years, no one's outed anything? Really? And the laser that you can point at the moon and it reflects right back at you that was left on the moon by the astronauts, that's fake too? Really? The scientists that are shooting the laser at the moon to get it back at us reflected perfectly, they're lying too? Really? That would be an example of the really filter. And on the opposite of that, it's like, really? Billy got an A on his math test? Really? He studied for weeks? Really? And he got an A? Really? He had flashcards that he would work with every day, and then he got an A? Really? You know how I would argue that I'm the one who looks silly doing this. So if you, because I regret to inform you that not everyone you like is an agent provocateur, and it might be useful to, how can I say this? If ever you see something that smells fishy, you might want to use the really filter to give it that formalized sniff test. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to try to find a clip that I wanted to play. I forgot to put in my bookmarks, so let me just give you a bit of music while I play that. It shouldn't be too long, okay? Holy shit, that's loud. Yeah, because of the fucking Justin Trudeau thing. You see how loud that was? Justin Trudeau was speaking so softly with the volume the way it was now, okay? Just give me a second. Sorry for blowing some of your all's eardrums out. Let's see here. I think I found it, but I can't test it while the music is playing, so let me do this. And I'm gonna mute my desktop audio for just a second. The stream might get choppy for a couple seconds. It won't be Nope, this is not the clip. This is not the clip. Wait a second. How about this one? Neither. Okay. You know what? It's gonna take too long to find this clip. It's in French anyway. I just want to mention this because it was so hilarious. I sent it to a bunch of friends, and I'm usually I've been consuming so much media about this event that I try not to spam all my friends whenever I find anything interesting, right? So it was this Radio-Canada bit, which is CBC in French, and they were talking about the protests. And honestly, despite what I'm about to say, that segment that they did was all in all fair. By mainstream media standards, they did a good job of giving fair and balanced coverage of the convoy. But they managed to find the one guy who was talking about making a peaceful citizen's arrest of either Justin Trudeau or the premiers, and I found it really, I found it very interesting that they found the one guy talking about that, and yeah, let's put it through the test. So anyway, like I was saying, the segment was in French anyway, but what he said was that he wanted to make peaceful citizens arrests. Really? This guy thinks that he can arrest an MP without any violence? Really? And he's openly talking about this in front of a news camera and a reporter? Really? He's talking about his plans to arrest an MP in front of a mainstream journalist? Really? And he thinks that he can do that peacefully? Really? And they found the one guy at the protest who was talking about that? Really? That one reporter happened to find that one guy talking about peacefully arresting a premier? Really? I would I would invite you, like, if I find the clip, I will put it in the show notes. But yeah, it's insane. There is one other thing that I want to cover before letting you go. Wait, what is this? Yeah, I had a miscellaneous section, and I'm not going to cover this. So let's circle back to that one picture, that one guy holding a Nazi flag. I just want to elaborate on how stupid that is, because I mentioned last week how I went to an anti-mandate protest in September here, and I did see Nazi symbolism. However, the point of the ones that I saw were that they were comparing the mandates to Nazi Germany. Right now, I was fortunate enough that I learned firsthand how bad an idea it is to do in a very low stakes context. So I kind of got I kind of understood the rule that if you want to persuade the normies that sweet 40% of the pie that's up for grabs, it's never good. Don't ever compare anything to Nazi Germany, like never, under any circumstances. A dictator can ethnically cleanse 6 million of his people with gas chambers, and you still can't compare that to Nazi Germany. That dictator could be named Hitler. So you could have a dictator named Hitler who's ethnically cleansing 6 million of his people with gas chambers. You still cannot compare that to Nazi Germany. Just don't do it. And just to give you an example. No, actually, it's not an example. It's to put this in perspective here. There are Holocaust survivors who are alive today, and by extension, there are people whose parents or grandparents survived the Holocaust. So even if you think you have a valid comparison, by bringing up that traumatizing, horrible memory, it is so traumatizing and horrible that we're kind of all collectively traumatized by it, right? To this day, it is pointless because you don't need to invoke that to make your point. As a matter of fact, I will bring up this article, which is in French, but it doesn't matter. The reason that I'm showing this is because of the picture that is at the bottom that will eventually load. Where is it? There it is. Here. Medical segregation is wrong. Hey. Oh, wait, did I crash my own stream? Well, anyway, I'm going to keep going. So, medical segregation is wrong. No Nazi symbolism. The point is made. The biggest the biggest chink in this guy's armor is that when you hear the word segregation, people often think of racial segregation, but segregation just means to separate, you know? So again, my point is you don't even need appeals to Nazi Germany to make your point. And I was going to use a metaphor. So I'm going to cut myself off and just say, I also oppose mandates. I think the most governments have crossed the line a while ago as far as what is acceptable. And if you want to make that point, in my opinion, it is a very easy point to make without comparing it to Nazi Germany. So just don't. All right. No yellow stars, no swastikas, no SS symbols. Please refrain from doing this. So that will that will wrap up my analysis / persuasion tips for the days 1 to 5 of the Ottawa convoy. Honestly, if you've made it this far, if you made it this far, I genuinely appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that I managed to keep your attention this long. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. I really want to know, you know, as much information as I can get. I would gladly appreciate it. So thank you very much. Hopefully I will see you next Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. But regardless, thank you once again for watching. I'll see you soon. Really? Well, looks like I might have to do a little bit of editing after all. Oh, geez. What time is it? It's 10:45. Okay. Let me just take a sip of water here. All the ads in that La Presse article made my stream freeze. Hopefully the recording is decent. We'll see. Most people at the protest were actually hostile to journalists, but this guy wasn't. Yeah, exactly. Man, that's another thing I wanted to cover, but I won't. I don't. You know what? Bonus meme. For those of you watching in the VOD, this is for you because this isn't going to end up in the other segments. So I've seen journalists being, let's say, given a less than warm welcome while trying to cover the protests. But I kind of want to change that. Let me give you an example of what I mean. So this guy, I unironically appreciate any journalist who's willing to at least try to go in there and cover from in there, despite how likely they are to do uncharitable coverage. Like, that's a given, right? However, let me just read this tweet. Today has not been easy. Protesters were mostly peaceful Saturday. Today has been different. Setting up for a live hit. Yeah, I'm sure it would have been a live hit. With CP24, we were yelled at and swarmed by a group of protesters within seconds. We can't get close without this happening. And I gave them a pro tip. Leave the camera crew at the office and get your footage with your phone. I'm sure, like, it's, if they just, I'm sure they could even get interviews if they just pretended to, well, I guess pretending to be an independent journalist would be lying and fraud. But if they could use the cover of being alone with their phone as a way to get closer and maybe, you know, ask someone for comment or whatever, or maybe just get footage. I don't know, but you know, as long as they show up with a cameraman and that mic with the square thing around with the logo of the network that you work for, that this is going to happen. But I unironically applaud them for trying, and I want mainstream coverage of this event, so that I can expose the misdirections when there are some. But I gotta say, that one picture of that one guy holding that Nazi flag, holy shit, that was ammo. And I keep talking about that one picture of that one guy the way I do in an attempt to minimize it, because it's one guy, Jesus Christ. However, and this is the bonus meme for y'all watching the VOD, I want it on record in case someone actually says this, because most people will not. Like, it's a very safe bet to assume that no one will do the work to find out what I'm about to point out. But, I'm gonna bookmark this here. This is irrelevant. This is not what I'm looking for. Let's go to photos. I'm looking for something. Just give me a second. I don't think this is gonna be long enough to warrant putting on music. Jesus Christ. That one picture sure made rounds. Come on. I need to find this to get it on the record before I leave. So we got 10 minutes. Okay, I was going about it the wrong way. Actually, maybe I will put on some music. Shouldn't be too long. Yeah, good. There we go. If I find it here. Oh, man. I've been so active on Twitter that and like, again, the acceleration that I talked about at the top of the hour, that affects like everything. So if you want to find a specific thing, it's that much harder to do. Did I bookmark it? Yeah, stream is still smooth. Yeah, all of these are from before the truckers arrived, so no. Let's keep looking. Knowing myself, I would have liked it. I'm looking through my liked posts in an attempt to find the thing that I want to get on record. I appreciate your patience. It would be funny if I had actually bookmarked it before. Let me check here in my master doc. That music makes me want to play Phoenix Wright. I'm not familiar enough with Phoenix Wright. Oh, man. Okay. It'd be funny if this thread turned into let's watch Sydney scroll through Twitter for 10 minutes. Oh, Jesus. Okay, we're getting there. January 30th. Hey, January 30th is my birthday. It was my birthday on Sunday. For those of you who didn't know. Where are you? Man, if I make it all the way to January 28th without this picture, I'm gonna be pissed. Okay, I just thought of another way to get to it. I have 6 minutes left. We're gonna make this happen. Live stream the Switch version, yeah. Hey, if you buy me a Switch, we'll see. Where is it? Here. Fuck. Wow, I've been so long that the music actually ended. All right. I think I know what I'm gonna do. How long will it take Sid to find the pic? Yeah. Wait, or did I bookmark it? Wait, if this is what I think it is, this will be an entryway. Yes. Okay. Shit. I can't wait to add the timestamps later. This entire thing is gonna be Sid searches for a picture on Twitter. Oh my god. 4 people still watching. Thank you so much. Holy shit. Y'all are fucking troopers. Y'all are fucking troopers. Let me see here. There you are. Oh, but she's been really active too. It's gonna take forever. All right, here's the thing. I'm not gonna find this pic in time. Or will I? I am currently streaming through. I'm currently scrolling through the Twitter feed of an independent journalist who is hardcore pro-vax, and well, being pro-vax is not the issue, but she's she's so hardcore pro-vax that anyone who opposes mandates is an anti-vaxxer who doesn't trust the science in her mind. That's why I said it that way. And she's been relentlessly scouring Ottawa for any slight misbehavior, and I find value in that. You know, that one picture, that one guy, I saw it on some of these Twitter feeds way before the mainstream media reported on it, as well as that chick dancing on the tomb of the unknown soldier. I learned of that like within a couple hours of it happening. So there's a lot of value to that. Like, people who are such people who are haters and also are independent journalists, I find them extremely valuable, and which is why I follow them and why I want to pay attention, and I want every misdeed reported, because it helps the movement too. Yeah. So listen, I'm not going to find the picture, but the bonus meme that I wanted to say, and maybe I'll show it next week. There are actually 2 pictures of that one guy holding the Nazi flag. There's only one picture that circulates, but there is a second one. But I can't find it, nor will I find it in time. If you are still watching, I fucking appreciate it so much. We are living through historic times, and I hope this ends well, because actually, you know what? I'll say this. There are a handful of ways that the events in Ottawa can end, and most of them are bad. And if I can somehow help the people over there avoid the bad outcomes and get to even a good outcome, even if it's not like the victory that they want, to like not be a bad outcome, that's really important for me, and that's why I'm trying, and that's why I'm gonna keep trying. I might even pop in here impromptu at some point and just do a quick stream to cover something that's really important. So yeah, like obviously I'm not gonna announce those too far in advance. Tuesday at 10 p.m. is like the key time slot. But in any case, I appreciate y'all hanging in there for so long, watching me scroll through Twitter and fail. But that being said, honk honk. I'll see y'all next week. Later.